Snoop Dogg with the lead pussycat. I show you how I go that. Yeah, I wanna throw that. Me and you one on one, treat it like a show that. You look at me and I look at you. I'm reaching for your shirt. What you want me to do? I want you to loosen up my buttons, baby, but you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, baby, but you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. Typical and hardly the type of photo I like when the physical. Don't leave me asking for more.
I'll tip a cut on this all gets physical to my tree. I'm coming out of it as much as it came as my can of pen range. I'm coming to it as a tree, I'm coming to it natural path going to pound it different. It's just gonna pound different, pin different for the mind that feel that it fanny gets. We're cutting for a small for text type and just doing it next then. Where it's got the ancestor mind onto the acid the tune and actually has some sort of soldering. Even does it to mine, loosens them up like buttons into it all to me. And I was just massaging them on mine. How Nintendo had it there and they were cut for it like crowds who do it to the field next. Users as TFA long ago. Users as TFA. We rusted that right where it was out of the minefield. We're just doing one for this end. Or we exited and legged it like crabs, slammed it different like users just had some of our TSA. Or TFA actually literally had this author just react to one thing that was different. This could be yours, I can see, just like those guys that choke. Ain't baby, can't you see? This goes off hitting on me. The heat coming from the speed. I'm about to blow, I don't think you know. I want you to loosen up my buttons, baby, but you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, baby, but you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. Now you can get what you want, but I need what I need. And let me tell you what's cracking like it before I proceed. I'ma show you where to put it at. BCD on me, yeah, I thought I saw a putty cat. Now roll with the big dog. All six of y'all on me. Now tell me how I feel, baby dog. Ashley, Nicole, Carmi, Jessica, Kimberly, Melody, you telling me? Loosen up my buttons, babe. Loosen up my buttons, babe. Won't you loosen up my buttons, babe? Loosen up my buttons, babe. Loosen up my buttons, babe. Loosen up my buttons, babe. Won't you loosen up my buttons, babe? Loosen up my buttons, babe. Loosen up my buttons, babe. But you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, babe. But you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, babe. But you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you to loosen up my buttons, babe. But you keep running. Say what you gon' do to me, but I ain't seen nothing. Strumming my pain with his finger, singing my life with his words, telling it.
Gosh, that we didn't burn the runner in the database. He's an event looping into us. Well, we're not asking him everything out where he has a statue there. He's already Chinese and was getting it back for the mind that had some of it his field when eating for that. Celery 5 plus. Async IO already does it to us. Already burn our app red as an local host right there. App.task async function sleeps it. Till rust her in half. Or we're doing stuff different. Mix celery with async code. It's a hybrid approach to mine in the field. Async funk mans you out. Async for it. Mix celery with async code. That's going for mine in the reactor where it's battling for field, I swear. Some of us are going in for it, landing for a wall. From an async app, caller celery task. From sync celery worker. While working the celery, call code on it that's asynchronous and cast a battle to it. It's coming us back as a battle we fight in language, and we're doing it for the choral. We're doing it for all of it. It's spraying in its paint. It's spraying in lost its paint right now. It's coming back to us on choral. We'd make celery here where she has her async code and doesn't have all of it cast on, but she casts it on as yours. Where it would type for text differently.
Or maybe didn't type for all of it. Make celery with async code. Okay, so we do it fast for a shared task. Intimate how much was celery was a shared task. Like it was async to our code, it was wrapping in ripping things for that. Like it was going in as celery when that went in flying on the plane. From an app that already has it that asynchronous for us, we're calling it celery like a task. Like celery calls on that one. It gets it to the thread. She adds it as she delays it 1 and 2. Where add is still delaying 1 and 2, and she doesn't add it right, but she's burning the response. Async IO if it's an app to, you're already running our celery for a boyfriend. But we're gassing it in different. We're mixing it in with code and trying to breed it in. We're gassing it in like celery had it. Could import it from a shared task. Just as she does async stuff there and was stuffing for the function. Share a task to her. It's all shared to her as a task on the reactor. And she shared it as a task to make sync with the celery worker. How we were just working for the Rust. We worked the environment out. We said, hey, where do we have it? MFA'd it. It was already there. Nano user says TFA. Maybe if that doesn't step on it anymore, it's all async. Comes to you in celery, coming in Rust, and it's coming in some of mine. Lottie has it for Coral there. She's tossing it in for some of hers. Nano, this is Lottie H/celery. You could take mine. You could write on it different Rust here to the probe we canned in Pandan. Pandas ain't. It's just canning well onto the trunk where we fished it. And that's the one the hydropath fishes where he's getting a naturopathic for the girl who has it finished at the reactor, who will sell it to anyone fat. And sells her Nintendo there, and doesn't know how much of the fat she gets for the station where she spaces out and comes back in the wall. But you'll come to me, and I know what statues had my Rust long ago. Like it's not an app we task, it's a shared task. We're tasking as an app, sharing it here. We shared it in Mission Mind, where you didn't have it celeries. Like we're cutting an L, underscore. Just does it for one person. It's probably folding it different for the snake necks. But do async stuff is, it's flipping it like it replied the message. It was doing it for the colon too. Cut it small. We just cut them back. Def. Def had minds for the field and the colon. When he had that for us. But Def, he was just talking like he was going in with a hovercraft. The Finn already had its Saudi fan for his gas that burned on Nurkles or Coral. These is onto their women burning on Kirkles for Durkles. They didn't even know what they were burning on the minefield when they did the liquid computer on the hydrocraft. It was hovering different when it was holding it for its women. God, we all held it down there. How we admitted the Finnish naturopathic reactor was gonna do it as shoal if it didn't come to them as compost next, or was bullying them different where it composted the shoal different. We knew it all. It was rusted in there, clear to us. We could reply it as a message. Do async stuff was a task, a shared task if we were just doing async stuff. We just share it as a task and we rusted here a couple of times, cut it in half. Like do async stuff was a mine after it fielded that. We just had it close calling. Async func. We're importing ours. We didn't do that one. I wasn't minding it as fielding it. I just sat it on it. Like probably mine is on indifferent for shatchers at statues. But it was like shatchering as a stature. Well, oh, God, if it nurkled out well, or it could even do it for Coral K for it, Command L for it. I didn't even know it was doing it for ours, but I pounded it out for stature. Like, hey, this man has me out. I'll mine him in different TFAs getting to me, and I'll get them for crabs. Like the database is already async, and I'm just translating the language for crabs there. And I'll translate for different versions that fly to us as crabs. If we just have it celery and we burned it, or we mined it as a different article, or burn it as a celery next, where it has it imported, and it's just send text. TFA, cuts us that small for MFA then, and we'll cut for all the crabs we wanted. Just because that hats or even cuts us as much of it as mine's out for some of her crabs.
Like she would even tape it through like a U did it for two, or warmer tape or something. Or we are all gonna get him coming back for the crabs. We're gonna get him going off his still for the mind. Reply message async like, yeah, that's a shared task. It's coming here and it's coming to be as a Python. Reply to the message. Message async. Like we're just going underscoring for it. Phone message user ID. Just that we're running the loop until it's complete. And that's one that we're running different. And it's burning to its different where it's cutting different for a few of our things. For crabs or stature that didn't even reply to it out. We just crabbed in like L's had it for stature controlling them long ago. We probably had it L'ing those crowds where they were rusted in its different reds, the Corleys. If someone could Sirenese, just if someone did literally Sirenese at all, it was translating to a language they're coming to them in the crabs. Or someone ran it different. Like we were a reply that messaged async and admitted the task was shared and was going to do it for all the accounts. Just because we do async stuff here where it's deft at my reactor, where it's definitely happening. It isn't synchronous or egg for it, but A has it next where she's cutting it for dots on a lamb. But she's doing it small, like she's lambing in for some of the silk too. But I'd cut her small like anyone battered the camera for Auroras or Nintendos or something. But I'd batter them different, like it was just frying me. Was gonna fry to some of mine, come to some of my subs. They'd be oceans to it then, but they bullet gasoline it, lin it, than it well. And I'd have all of it, where it had the mod for battery and just went as the man's code. We weren't trying to shake the Nurgle soak it on our coat and pretend a man did that finish anymore, unless he wasn't reacting a liquid computer right there. And it was liquid that came to him computeries, like the genome didn't have it cut for 5 tapeworms, whereas it cut for our pole and wire, cables and tape small. Okay, reply message async. That's coming to us as a shared task, and we're trying to rust it. Phone message and user ID did it for these. It split us in 3 of the cables. We're cutting in for some of them. I don't know what's replying to us our message async, but it's cutting for some of the async reaction of replying to us the message. It is tungsten. It just has it for the wax cylinders for them still. God, we could prick one of ours and he wouldn't know the solder would be out. He'd have ceramic back coming for it for us, like it was lamin for some of his. Wouldn't touch that one. Here, we're stripping on the pole. Oh God, it's the door here long ago where we crushed the woman. Reply message async, phone message user ID. That took it from its hole. We had the woman somewhere else, and we were mining her as cash. She apped it, cached it, apped it to a task cache quick. Like that app cached it to a task. But it was coming back to her as a reply that she'd messaged in async. I was cutting some of the mine in and out, just bleeding on it. And it was coming to her different for a text we sent different. It was users for a TFA when they had that for her crabs, but they were replying to her as a message equally was asynchronous, or we'd flip it as an app and task it different in the celery, where it just flipped to us asynchronous, or it could flip our Nintendos how they did it both. And it was flipping as a Nintendo after it shared the task. Python manage.ps shell flips for an egg next when it has none. But it's just doing this one well. Flips it well, like it doesn't have the historical user. We didn't import the model, we have the actual guy. He's going to use it like Nintendo's going to use his. He's gonna use crabs to tape ours. We're gonna batter the worm like cooking on us. Yeah, it never did that on silk. We weren't hurting on it right, or it was cooking on us, talking on us, different for our tea. Or we were spilling it all small here, like the silk had the tea. They were literally coming for our men like crabs. We'd spill it like the lamb right on the stage. We were coming to it like crabs, like we were replying to it as a message, real async for her, where she didn't have it away outside an async function, and it wasn't users to TFA on line 22. Now users TFA, which line 22 does. It gutted us like the thin damn it for lead clean through. 20 does 2. Fuck. Where it still had reactors to it. It could goof it. It could do that one. Sync do it. But one wasn't syncing there and would be async somewhere. Like it was syncing to ours well. We just weren't doing that for sync that was async to us. We're plugging it in different fossils right now. We're soldering right on like it's bleeding for us there. We're going to bleed for some of the rust. Bleeding for rust where we have the opera. If anyone's singing for it this well, she's operates as it. She's an operator. She will rust it. She legally will go onto the cables. I don't know how much of it we understand. Isn't the guy's Subway restaurant? It didn't finishly or ranishly react as a reactor that actually shit anywhere for shoal and fin there, fan there. Or wasn't helicopters coming to him next? On different drones, he already UFO'd. User set TFA. If someone's coming to you small, it's small there and past somewhere. Man, like 15's passing him small. If it's molded out, it's that much egg. I don't know how egg passes languages in, they rust different. But she'll do it on different statures and probably copy it in from one of our keyboards, bash it like it's just a swipe on the other one, and does it for fruit inside the actual ninja, where it cans and thins the seed and sands it coals it smaller until they're all bears going to the ocean as water. And they come back for the crab, like they admit how much it was salt they salted in, like to warm how to tape to it. Crab to it if you're still coming to it. Just come to us as crabs if you're coming as China. Because user/TFA, nano users TFA. God, we have him 69 for crabs there, where we have statue, and then we're still shooting at Twilio, and didn't burn all of ours. He's the client, Twilio rests him. He's already dead, but we'll come back. We'll come back none of him, and we'll come to it on line 69, like we didn't have it there. Sentex had it there. We had an asynchronous client. We were taking it both ways. It was an import. Sentex had it for us, where it does it for a Rust. He'd take it from it, there's one client, and he'd try it until he'd rust it, and then he'd do it different. He was doing it for one guy, just talking different for the cable. He'd burn off as a spear that Caden and just got it and cut it. Or we'd client it as a Twilio that re-rusted it, admitted how much the mine was admitted him, didn't admit to any of us, but we'd mine out his field next, if we still had eggs or reactors for our sand. Or we'd go in as one, inking that sand in. Like it was going in egg, coming out of us as a sand. But it had to have someone's aurora on it, or it didn't have a camera for the cable. But it was going on as rust that would hydrese it well, like we'd melt it well. If no one had it for the cable, they'd have it for the robot, probably be stepping on us next. Like they would just clean him as men. It would bear it well like the vulva. Or something. I don't know. But it's cutting me 73, where I probably sent a text for 100 people. And sent it small, there to hell. Ints to a number, if you still have that one, forget numbers for length. Man, mine at users TFA 73. 73 has us looking for different corals here. Users for genome for length of stature, we had accounts and IDs we called Twilio still. Sending text was a response to us. We didn't met the client, the message, how much of it was response. Could just crowd if you doubled our authentication for a whale when you got 6 from it. We were cutting it all there small. Like it was coming to a small. Nano users translator or MFA. 73 did it for them in Rust. 3 did it for them in stature. 70 would do it for them in genomes. Client accounts as an SID. OS is a token. And literally is a Rust. We could rust him enough and for him not to be a client. You need a count different for an SID and a token there. Where it's all settings, cutting in, calling in, shailing it there for HTML that fans and Finn's email. God, we thought someone didn't re-rust ours. We were Python and check. Someone would play it to chest and hell if it didn't check fours and just murder the next Python. We're just supposed to write coral out for Legos. It look good for Python. If we're writing